What is up, y'all? What is up? Welcome to the Songwriter support stream. I don't know if you saw my screen set, but what to do before a TikTok live. And that is post. Okay, so I'm pulling up chat, I'm pulling up everything. And yeah, just know Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I think it's been pretty consistent. And I'm about to pull up the TikTok side here, but just letting them all roll in. I do the late night beat stream. I got done earlier than I thought today, but I took some time to just chill. And I started realizing recently just how much we really don't know somebody's faith journey and where they are, right? Like, you know, I think there's a lot of people, and me included, who we set ourselves to like a very unrealistic expectation. We really do. Okay. Guess I just have to do welcome to my live if I do the post, whatever. But welcome to the live stream. And I feel like recently it's been making me realize everything that I've been doing or going through. Like, even though I've been being responsible in different ways, like, I still beat myself up. And I think it's because I don't get it right every time and I don't get it perfect. What's good? See, I told you I was going to be streaming tonight. And, oh, whoops. Hold on. Let me start virtual camera on TikTok so it'll go. There you go. Whoops. Yeah, better share that. No, it's funny. The first time I posted about me going live on TikTok, um, people were like, "You're not live. You're not live." And it's like, I am. I was at the time of posting. But I'm not on yeah, no, I sure was, but I think it's funny cuz like it I hate that it was rage bait, but just for like the wrong reason, cuz it was like you don't realize that the whole algorithm takes way longer to like it takes like way longer to do that. What's good? It is Dylan. Welcome. Welcome everybody. Yeah, this is the LNBS. So Monday and Friday is the late night beat stream because it's way quicker for me to produce. Like it really it's way quicker for me to do it. And I feel like I like doing it for a short amount of time, kind of talking to you guys at the beginning of the stream and engaging with y'all. Um and then just jumping right into it. So I'm not up too late, but I'm still up till like 2 o'clock in the morning. It's whatever. Um Because I love doing this. Like, I've realized, dude, I feel like new opportunities are coming in, and it's helping me realize that I just need to be focused on, like, God building me into the person that He needs me to be. And that if I try to do everything with my own strength or with my own will, I'm going to fall short. And I think that's literally everybody. Like, we all do. Um, it's inevitable. And I think when we really do that is when we don't rely enough on God or trust Him enough or really know what that looks like. And then because we don't know what it looks like, we don't walk with faith. We walk like by what we are seeing in the moment. Right. Well, here's the thing. I do always believe in God's strength and God's ability to do anything that He wills. But I think what's tough is you don't see it. You don't see it. And as somebody who grew up around someone who like was very much figure it out and like controlling, it's had me realize like, dude, this it's like unlearning and realizing that we don't have control and trying to do that. No. How was the first thing to exist created from nothing? It wasn't. It was created from the Father. It's made me realize that, God is very real and present in our lives. And that even if I don't have all the answers and I don't know everything, I know what Jesus has done for me and how he's encountered me and how his word has encountered me, in mighty ways, in ways that I can't even explain. And I think that is the power of God ultimately, is like if your heart is open and willing, he will encounter you in a way that maybe you won't understand at first. And he works in a way that we don't understand. It's like tough sometimes to see his plan unfold because we are supposed to walk with faith and not by sight. And, a lot of people think if everything's going good that it's from God, and that's not always true. I think that sometimes, before I met God, I had what I would consider a life that I really would have been like, oh, dude, this is amazing, but I was miserable deep down. And I had to recognize that, like, sometimes the hardest moments are really God moving in so that he can strip the things away from you that were killing you. And then you won't be able to see everything or understand everything until it was all said and done. And then you look back on your life, you look back on those moments and you're like, oh, that was God protecting me from myself, from other people, from like environments I really shouldn't be involved with. But then there's other times where it's like, I'm recognizing God's will is being done. He's protecting me. He's giving me everything that I need. But because I was around people who were so controlling, I beat myself up when I don't get it perfect. Like when I don't get it right. And I don't know if that's, everybody's struggles are different, right? But I think being open and honest and transparent with you guys is allowing me to not only see that I'm not alone, but also help other people recognize that they're not alone, like in whatever struggles that you have, even if it's with your faith walk, if it's with, your relationship with God. Because I've been realizing that a lot of times the people around you are what shape your faith in ways, especially when you're young. And growing up, it was something that I was not around people who truly believed in the God of the Bible. And I recognized that once I did, and once I had established that connection with God and he came out to me, I had to change, like, it made me realize, like, how much he had changed my life, like, in trusting him, and how much my life has changed recently. But I've been in this period where, like, I was so busy working and doing all of that, and I feel like within the last month or two, things have shifted in a way where I'm like, dude, I have no control. And it's not like I don't have everything that I need, but I'm like, this is not what it was. And now I'm starting to realize, like, dude, you have no control. You shouldn't beat yourself up. Everything that you need is with you because God is with you. And I think that is more powerful than anything that you're ever going through. And, even if you don't agree with the guy, if you don't agree with everything, I've been watching like Sam Hyde content recently. Just because I remember at one point when I used to watch Adult Swim and I watched $1 Million Extreme, I watched Eric Andre's show, and I've gone back and I've realized that a lot of those guys, they are believers. But, they're people that are very divisive, have very strong opinions, have some crazy takes, and I don't agree with them on everything, but I recognize that, like, none of us are perfect, dude, even if we believe. and we should aim to be more like Jesus every day. But we have to recognize that, like, we all fall short of the glory of God. We all do. And that's why we need him. And, like, whether you like that guy or not, whether you like $1 Million Extreme or not, or anything that they do, I think we have to recognize that, like, God is for anyone who is willing to admit that they've fallen short of the glory of God and wants to change. Because there's some stuff where it's like, clearly, if you continue to live in that sin, you're going against the word. Like, you're going against, like, it's sin that leads to death. Because there are people that say, you know, all sin is the same. As, yes, it is, as it separates us from God. However, there is some sin that does not lead to death. And then there's sin that leads to death. And I think that ultimately all of us, like, we struggle with something in some sort of capacity. Whether we like to admit it or not. But I think it's important being as real and as authentic as you possibly can about it, and connecting with your community and doing the best that you can always. And just being as loving, as open and honest as you can be, and admit where you are. I think that is so powerful. Like, recognizing that, like, us wanting to change, accepting God, and, like, wanting to grow deeper and deeper in our faith is, like, what's the most important, even if we don't get it right. Because there's too many people out here, I've realized this, especially on TikTok, dude. False prophets, people so hardened in their hearts, like, have crazy positions on the Bible, and, like, some of them, it makes sense. Sometimes it's just like, dude, you're prideful. And whether I agree with you or not, you're just being prideful. And I think that that doesn't mean those people aren't loved, but I think it makes it tough. Like, it made me realize, you know what's funny? I felt like it was harder defending your belief in your faith with Christians than it is, or people that call themselves Christians, or people that have a specific understanding of Christianity, or, like, you know, they believe in a different aspect of it, like Orthodoxy or Catholicism, or people that are Messianic Jews, right? Like, they believe in that. Like, there's a lot of them recently that have been coming out and, like, really wanting to talk about, like, dietary laws, like eating unclean stuff and things like that. And I don't think that's a salvation issue. It really isn't. Because in what Paul says is, if you're going to live by the Torah, you're going to die by it too. Ultimately, if that's what you believe saves you, and abiding by it, like, it's okay if you choose to. But I've realized that Romans was showing me that it's like, if people do not are not born under the law, and they follow the law with the things that they do, it's considered righteousness. But most people, they follow under the law and they fall short, and that's considered unrighteousness, uncircumcision. And so if that's the ruling, like, and that's the way that you want to live your life, what was the point of believing in Jesus? Like, it blows my mind. And they're the same people that do not understand that the measure that they judge people, like the way that they judge people, through dietary laws or specific ways, like, oh, you don't celebrate the Sabbath on Saturday, like stuff like that, right? They assume that you're going to hell, and it's such a bad take. It really is. Like, whether we agree or not, I don't think you should be condemning people to hell because that's not your job. That's not your job. Whoops. But on that note, I feel like let's make something kind of like ambient. We'll just start here. Okay. Like, these are the two different sections. Oh, hey, what's good, David? Thanks for hopping in. Well, I like that. like that. That sounds great. Very, very like 80s. Very like, what am I thinking of? It's interesting. Oh, better get the, almost forgot. There you go. I like that. Of course, I messed it up first time. You too, man. God bless you. Thanks for hopping in. So I feel like I need to make the Moog patch a little bit more. High computer load. Oh, that's probably why. Alright. So, we keep trucking along. So what I'm thinking... I wonder what presets they have too with just the bass. Because I like where it's going, but I'm also like, oh, hold on. Yeah, I like where this one's going. I feel like it needs some like weird drums in the beginning. Like something just... There's some weird sounds in that one. I kind of like that. Thank you, thank you. Thank you for liking the live. Share the live. That helps out a lot. What? Yo. Yo, that's weird, dude. I've never heard of a hi-hat doing that. Fragments is the one that I want. I want something that's wild. I feel like it's very video. Yo, what? Oh, dude, I never saw this view. Bro, this plugin's so crazy. All the Arturia stuff's amazing. I really enjoy it. I love that, dude. I love that sound. There's something about that sound. See, this is why I like sound design, because it's not about getting it right. It's about just trying stuff in sequence and then seeing what works. Like, that definitely should be part of it. Maybe at a different section. But it's just like a brief moment. And I think this is valuable stuff you can learn from this. Is like, it's okay to use presets, but I think understand why you're using a preset, right? Like, don't rely on it so heavy. Don't be afraid to like tweak it. But if you feel like, if you're trying to get something quick, presets are always great. They really are. I want to see what happens. I'm going to call this one a U. Okay. So now I want to make like a synth out of my voice and do something where it's like I start with just like a pitch corrected voice, right? Start with one note and then make like a chord, use the same chord progression and then try something different with it. Like I want to make like a pad that's vocal related. You, 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 you. It's like getting the pitch right. Because if you can get to a C note, then when you input the chords, everything's going to match with whatever notes that you put in here. Because everything's mapped to a C. So I'm going to start there. You. So we're going to start with that. Okay. Now, I know I'm probably saying that I'm flat, sharp, whatever. So my guess is if I'm flat at the beginning, maybe go a little bit more. Take that little bit at the end. Okay. So now what I'm thinking about doing is I'm going to use Ovox, which is a very interesting plugin. Stupid fly. All right. Yeah, I like where this one's going, dude. This one's definitely got a wild sound to it. So I think C. I want to see what happens if I do like what is it? Just scale, chromatic. But I want to try, because you can do a ton with this plugin. This one's nuts. Let me see presets. Evox lead. Excuse me. Then you can lock that in. Why isn't it playing a note? Weird. I forgot they had a harder, better, faster, stronger patch. Harder, better. Ooh. Okay. So now that I got that, right? I'm going to freeze it. And I want to see what happens making it into an instrument. Like, take the file, load it into a sampler, do some effects, try some new things. That's what sound design really is like you could take natural sources or sounds or random sounds and then like pitch them, stretch them. You know, for example, here's one that might be interesting. We could take like a snare, right? Let me go in here and take this, right? It's a very short file. What I'm going to do is I'm going to warp it complex. I'm going to stretch it so far out. It says warp segment BPM reach. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to freeze it and I'm going to flatten it and I'm going to do it again. Because once you flatten it, it jumps back to BPM. So now I can do it. Like, but if I do it this way, you could do it even further. Like, that's about as far as it goes. And if you use Complex Pro, isn't that crazy? You can. So now I can do it this way. Yeah, dude. This is why sound design, I think it, like, people say, "Oh, I want to learn music theory." Yeah, it's important. You can make some really good songs there. But sound design is how you actually sound different. I'm not going to lie, like, I feel like that can make somebody a unique, like, I feel like especially going forward, that's going to be a big thing. Because AI is going to try and, like, you know what I mean, make all the generic stuff. So it's like, how do I sound different in a world full of AI? And, you know, Forrest Frank has a sound. There's people that, like, take a sound, or they know something that's, you know, really popular, right? And they go with that and they make music like that. And I've realized that, like, I don't fit into those categories. Like, I just make a ton of songs, and I'm finding out, dude, I think people are really liking the Book of Job preview. Especially the ones that, like, I might as well show you guys. If you haven't been following the Myron the Disciple page, I'll pop on here real quick and I'll show you. That.
Reading the early church fathers.
So, like, people are really liking the new one. This one. Oh, hold on, there it is.
Are you really good, fellas? Robert De Niro. Do you really love Jesus?
Oh, yeah, I do.
Hero. I let Jesus take the wheel. I'm driving F-Zero. What your faith look like when you have zero? Are you really good, fellas?
That's my other page, Myron the Disciple.
Do you really love Jesus? Is he your hero? I let Jesus take the wheel. I'm driving F-Zero. What your faith?
Yeah, that song is done, bro. That one's dropping August 20th. Book of Job. Get ready on that, dude. I'm hyped. Let me do like let me see, loop. Yeah, I couldn't see the video. I think it's because your channel's private. So I wasn't able to actually see the video, but I did see your message. So this is one way that you can kind of make your own synths, make your own sounds. Is you can use your own voice. You can use many tools to kind of get that point across. I love that. Trying to remember with Corpus MIDI input from free. I feel like it's so wild. Oh, you know what I'm also wondering too, because I like that snare itself, like the Luger snare. So where was it? This one? So do this, and then do I have that Valhalla reverb? Oh no, I forgot to download the free one. Okay. Let me try Serum 2's reverb. So this one was fire. Oh, dude. Definitely gonna have to update. It's been a minute. Reverb. Dang, bro, what? Yo, what? That's insane. Ooh. That's a real good one. Like using that snare reverb and then flattening it. Oh, yeah, dude. Sound design. Because I feel like this is what's going to be moving forward is like what's going to give people an edge. Is like, how do we focus on sound design? Because if AI can recreate any sound or any idea, how true is that if we're making our own original sounds and not programming it to AI without it ripping off from us? Oh, hold on. Let me reverse it back and then. I didn't like that. So I like this, but I also like this. There's something about the transient of this in the body of the body of this, but the transient of that one. Like something about blending those two and making that a kick. Oh, hold on. Hold on a sec. So yeah, like I want this stream to be an example of like, okay, how do I use what I have and make new unique sounds? Like if I had all the time to make something new, create new samples or like, because this is pretty good. That's pretty, like they're pretty good, but there's something that I like about this one, something I like about this one, and I feel like combined it just Oh, yeah. That's nice. I like that. So now we're going to freeze and flatten. What? What do you mean? Oh, hold on. I got to re-record it back in. Okay, so now it'll be one sample once I record it back in. Yeah, so this stream, doing a little bit of like sound design, trying new things, taking presets, and then like taking samples that I've already made and making new samples with them. So like that's a new kick drum now. Now I have a new kick drum ready to use. Even though it's like 2 kick drums that I already made. So now I can input that, use that in a unique way. Okay. What's good, Cypher Ministries? Thanks for hopping in. All right. I like where this one's going. It's very like Stranger Things, like kind of just weird, but it's going somewhere. Very like John Carpenter, Stranger Things, like those type of vibes. So definitely doing a little bit of like, let's make custom sounds. Because I think that's super important. If you're going to make something new, or like you don't want people, you want something new sounding, it's okay to make new sounds. And I think this is like a good way of showing you guys, okay, how do I make new sounds with sounds that I already have, right? Like, so you can layer a sound, or you can go at an audio level, and there's going to be 3 elements of most percussion sounds. Like, once you get into melodic stuff, it can be a little bit different. But the principle does start out about the same. You have your transient, like the first initial tick, click. You've got the body, which is like the note and the noise, and then you have the tail, like what comes afterwards. So this could be one. Because this is one sound. And I feel like I'm hearing more of the first one. But I'm wondering if I like take the body here, blend and mesh the two. And using crossfades, ooh, hold on. Ooh, hold on. Yeah. So then you can use things like transient shapers or OTT to then, which I personally like a transient shaper, just because you can be a little bit more, instead of it being like frequency based, it's more like attack and release based. So the attack is going to be how hard that transient hits, like that part, right? And the sustain is going to be how long it rings out. So without it, it's real subtle, but it makes a difference at the end of the day. So new RAM. And I feel like this is the challenge with these new beat streams is like, dude, how do I make something new? I feel like that should always be the challenge that you want to go for, is like, how do I make something new? All right. So now I have a new rim shot. New sound. Okay. Cool. So now I feel like I can import that, and I'll just keep this in the project file too, so that if I want to go back, so hey, you know how I was telling you guys I want to offer free samples to the community? This might be a way of showing you guys how to make samples, but then like if you don't want to deal with that, if you support like and you're a part of the Discord or you're just part of it, I'm willing to give you guys some of these new free samples and give access to them, because like the samples that I'm using to make these samples, I made these samples already. Like I either made them or I spliced together samples that I really like and modified them in a way that would make it a new unique sample. And I found out like this is how you can get new sounds, is being open to saying like, you know what, I don't have it all figured out and I want something new, so I'm just going to take what I have and make something new with that. So I think for these, I'm going to make them gray or like something like that, like this. So it's just like I know. Don't mess with them. But now I know. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I'm wondering. Now that might just be the one, honestly. So, it's already at 147. So, let me see. Dang it, I forget about that. Dang TikTok hotkeys. So, I'm going to take a transient from a sample that I really like, because I feel like there's like in one of these packs, there's like a couple open hats I use a lot, like this one, because it's just good. I feel like I want to take like the transient of this one, and then like, let me see. Let me duplicate it and then drop this in. So I think I'm going to take away the transient of this one, blend these two, and see what happens. Like, I like that. Makes it a little bit more unique. So I'm going to track it in. So now we have a new hi-hat too. Now we have a new open hat. Whoops. that, dude. Okay, that goes kind of crazy, I'm not gonna lie. Alright, I'm gonna consolidate that into one clip. Let it like fade in. There's something to that. There's something there. I like the progression where it's going. Like, I like that.
weeks ago.
Thank you. Thank you very much. All original. All right. Yeah, just figuring it out, trying something new. Because I made some sounds in here. I did some sound design. Because I like where it's growing. It's like a different progression. I feel like it's something you've heard, but something you've definitely not heard at the same time. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. For having me hit the live goal. God bless you. Let's go. So I'm wondering. So the hook should definitely be. I feel like it shouldn't. Should definitely be. I definitely gotta start coordinating some of this. Make it a little bit more sense. Okay, this one, gotta gray it out. So some of these were like samples that I made, and then some of them, like I made a couple in this one. So thank y'all. Like I feel like, music has been getting so taken over by hearing the same thing over and over again that it's like, how do I make something that genuinely sounds different? Like, I feel like this one, it's inspired kind of like John Carpenter vibes, but then also kind of like hip hop, electronic. That's definitely the vibe that I'm getting with this one. Just like sound design type stuff. Okay. Take out this track. Boom, boom. Make these white. Boom. And the reason why I pick the colors that I do is I've learned if you want to stay organized and know what certain sounds are, have a color scheme to them. If you create a color scheme, you actually remember, oh, hey, this is what type of sound this is. Like for me, I made drums yellow, so I know it's a drum sound. I make bass instruments blue. I normally make guitars red. Oh, this one helped me a lot many years ago. It helps me stay organized in every project. Because as long as you remember it, like you don't have to do it the exact same every time. But I would say as long as you know what instruments, like what type of instruments that you're putting in there, and then just trying to label them. You know, this one I should put Polymax ARP, Polymax add. And this was a cool, unique instrument. I can't remember if I group it. What does it do? Oh, it's an instrument rack. Okay, cool. So that's perfect. Save this one as a U-pad 0801. There you go. So I made an instrument. I did some sound design, like this is a snare, like reversed to get the very stretched out, and then this is like that same snare reverbed out, and you combine them. Because I think that this stuff, like if people knew more about this stuff when they're making their music and arrangement and stuff, they wouldn't make the same exact thing every time. Like they'd realize, hey, I can spend a little bit more time experimenting in making something that's like, okay, I understand the principles of what makes a song good. How do I make it unique? Like, how do I add sounds that I've never heard before, or like create sounds? Because I think there's a lot of people that make good sounding music, but they don't do a lot with sound design or like creating that. They're just like, I pick presets, I pick samples, they do that and do what's comfortable, which I get it. There's levels to that. But at the same time, like I think more recently, that's been the push of like, how do I do something I haven't done before? Or like, for example, the last songwriting stream, I actually made like a metal song, and I haven't recorded metal or like produced that in years. It's been such a long time. So this one, okay, so maybe silence here. Now I'm wondering, to make the next section more unique, one of the other things I like to do is sometimes half time it, which $20 plugin, but it's really awesome. Like, I really like how the other thing that's cool about it too is sometimes, like, if you flick it over to what is it, 1.5, it like changes the key. Actually might work though, like keeping the now I'm wondering. I'm producing something. It's like really experimenting. I would say this is instrumental for the most part. You probably could write to it. You too. Thank you for hopping in. I appreciate you. Okay, hold on a sec. So, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to record this back in, like the drums, real quick. Oh, dude, I always forget that. For some reason, I mean, look, I could. I do. Honestly, I do make Christian rap. That's kind of the realm that I make stuff in. But I'm not songwriting on this stream. I usually save that for Wednesday because I'll do like a 4 or 5 hour stream where I songwrite and I'll produce everything from the beginning and then like write to it and then record it and do all that. Yeah, so if you hop in Wednesdays and you subscribe and like follow the channel, that's what you'll see every Wednesday. But usually like Friday and Monday I just produce. Like I just try to make stuff like this. Cause I write a lot of songs. Yeah, I do. And I'll type it in the chat real quick. So the page is Myron the Disciple. I wonder if I add it on here, if it'll tag the actual, like it'll tag my page. It probably won't. But that's basically it right there. Or hold on, let me try it this way. Which if I Myron the Disciple. Yeah. Let me see if it'll actually like. Yeah, go to channel. Okay, cool. So that's the actual channel. If you want to know where the music is dropped. And I'm starting to drop previews of my next song, Book of Job, which is going to be dropping August 20th. I've been promoting it on my TikTok right now for the other page, Myron the Disciple, and Songwriter Support on TikTok. That page, I would say I live stream on there. I don't save any live stream VODs. And the TikTok's more like me connecting with the Christian community and just like kind of yapping at times. I'm not going to lie. But also like, so if you want more structured videos and more about songwriting and tips, but also, walking on your path with God and using your gift, the YouTube page is what you subscribe to. It's like longer form videos, some shorts sometimes. And then the TikTok is like something where I post there every day and I make content that just talks about like things that I'm seeing in the Christian community, or like songwriting tips that I sometimes poured over to the YouTube channel. But it's mainly, I really just like try to talk about what it's, the walk with God. I think it's super important. And I just don't integrate it on YouTube because if I'm not specific about what I post and how I tag it in the community, that like it ruins everything. Like you have to make a whole separate channel for it. And I've learned that I've made content like that on here, but I started realizing I'm like, dude, this is, yeah, I agree. I feel like we do. Because I feel like a lot of Christian artists and producers, there's like a level where I understand once you get some sort of like notoriety, right? that it becomes difficult just to do it for God and not get swayed in any type of way. Like it really does. I'm not saying it's not possible, but I understand like the challenge. I'm starting to understand the challenges and difficulties that they have. And I think sometimes there's some artists that are in here, right? Like they're really talented, but then they're like so focused on the trends and like how can I get people to engage? It like waters down the message of the connectivity that they can have. Because I feel that like there's some really talented artists that are on here, some that have millions of subscribers. And like I really liked his content, but I just started realizing I'm like, dude, everything that you post on here, even if you're posting every day, just seems so formulaic. And like you found the perfect formula, you found everything. And it's less about like yes, it's about God, but more so it's like, hey, let me pray for you. This is a Christian video, so if you've stayed, 95% of people have scrolled past. It's like, I think there just needs to be something different. You know what I mean? I don't think there's anything wrong with it, but I realize it's like there's a level of like this is formulaic. This is repeating the same thing over and over again and having a format. Versus like my format is I stream multiple times a week. I want to make new ideas and talk about the complications of having a gift from God creatively. And then like, how do we beat the AI? How do we beat all of these things? And I think what ultimately is going to do that is using your gift. Like people are like, oh, you should integrate AI. And I think what's difficult with it is if you don't know your rights and you don't know the crazy legal stuff and the implications that are actually coming in with AI, the more difficult it will be later down the line. Like if you use AI samples or things like that, you have to understand it's trained on copywritten material, whether you know it or not. And when you try to implement that into your music, all of a sudden your music can borderline getting copywritten. Even stuff that I've made on this stream, dude, Universal has tried to copyright music that I made on this stream. Even though all the samples are original, everything that I used was legally okay. And they tried to say it was a Ski Mask Slump God song, and it wasn't. And then they just didn't. I refuted the claim. And, what's good, 777 Bar Ranch? Thanks for hopping in. Yeah, I would say, here's the thing. BandLab's not difficult to use. It's limited. That's definitely the thing. There's limitations. And it's like, how do you get around the limitations? Oh, yeah, that too. What's up? Oh, yeah, might as well just play what I got from the top for you. But yeah, I agree. I think that there's a disconnect that comes through with tutorials and even like some of the people in the community. Gem Gun. What? Yo, that's crazy, bro. That was crazy on the TikTok stream. Oh, yeah. Because, like, tutorials help, but, like, it doesn't help you be creative. It just helps you follow a formula for a tight beat. And that's a different skill. That's a whole different thing. Seen a gem gun. That's such a great. You're always coming through with the crazy gifts, man. What is that? A manifesting. Bro, they have the wildest gifting items. Son of Galaxy! I think that's absolutely insane. That's like $50 or something like that. God bless you, man. Definitely got to tweak a couple things. Difficulties with BandLab is like just the limitations, and then when they do the tutorials, they're like, I'm gonna show you how to do this thing, let's get started, and then they don't. They just show you how they did it, and that's what becomes difficult. Oh yeah, dude. Like fade it in here and then let it fade out with that like thunder sound. It's so wild. Ooh, I think for that section. So this is stuff too where it's like learning how to cuz I don't know how much you can do with like re-recording in BandLab, which is like this is a really cool concept, like being able to take a sound that you've already used and re-record it back in and mess with the audio. So, like, for example, this right here. So what I'm about to do at this end part is I'm going to, like, reverse it and see how it sounds. And I'm just chopping it so it's like reversed in sections, but the rhythm's the same. I might even just take that out and instead of that, like put a hi-hat there. Like, yeah. Just that. Okay, cool. So like being able to mess with audio like this, like you can't really do it on a phone in a deep level. And I feel like that's the tough part with BandLab is even on the computer there's such limitations that it's almost difficult to do some of these things. But if you haven't already, Reaper is that's a good free software if you want to do more with audio. And why I say free is that's the website too. It's Reaper.fm. And I called it the WinRAR of DAWs because you can pay for a license, but literally all you have to do when you boot it up is click still evaluating, and it allows you to load samples, it allows you to load VSTs, it allows you to load like free software that you might already have access to. Their plugins internally are kind of mid. Like I don't know how to use their EQ and compressor. Like I never really benefited from it. But like you could load tons of free VSTs and get amazing sounding plugins and free sounds and stuff. And you can actually mess with the audio in a very similar way that you could with Ableton. Now, I don't know how well things align to the grid. It's been a while. I think it's just how you set it up. But Reaper's fully customizable, and it's something where literally every time you boot it up, you just wait till it goes for a second, you click still evaluating, and now you have a software that's like a full DAW, many tracks. You can record audio into it. You can make MIDI tracks, like program synths, do all that stuff that I do here within this. And that was actually the first DAW I used before, like way before I was saved. That was like the first one that I knew about. I was like, what's a good free recording software, or what like they consider free? And I'll pull up the website so you can see what I'm talking about, because I feel like this has been one of the like, and they still update it, dude. This was updated last month. They still update the website. It's really good, and it's actually very similar to like, it's very similar to Pro Tools in a lot of ways. But they've been improving tools, improving editing, automation, like all the things that you would do in pretty much any major software. This would actually get your feet in the water of like, how can I sound design? How can I do like with what I have? Because I know there's a lot of people that, they can't afford buying a DAW right now. They can't afford, like they have a computer and they just need to know how to use it or set it up. And if they knew like how many free resources are out there right now, they would probably have better sounding music, let alone like finish their songs. But it's that learning curve that's difficult. And even the tutorials, like with Reaper, there's not going to be like crazy tutorials. And if they are, it's going to be like how to set it up, how to load your software, stuff like that. But then you can learn how to like, basic music theory, MIDI programming, because a lot of those same principles that you would learn that I'm doing in this software apply in that software, apply in all software. It's just, understanding what works for you. And I feel like I like leading people there, because then I at least know you could download a copy of that. You just wait, click still evaluating. It's going to work for you, and you can load third-party plugins into it. So like, for example, if you want a really good free synthesizer that'll teach you how to start, like there's tons of good free presets for them out here. Vital has tons of great free presets already. But then like you can make your own sounds. And it's a synthesizer. So like, for example, I'm going to take this chord progression that I have. This is the stock Vital preset. Okay. Like it's stock. So it's automatically going to play back all of the notes. I'm going to turn it down a little bit. But you can go through and just start sound designing and messing with stuff and learning how the different things work. Wait, hold on. You know what I mean? Like you can... And this is free. You know what I mean? I just made a sound. And that I haven't even gone deep into it. That's just... And what's good is like there's so much free stuff out here that if you understand how Vital works, you can then start leaning into Serum. You can start leaning into paid software if you wanted to. It's called Vital. It's free. Let me pull up the website real quick. It's really good. It's basically like, right, it lacks almost nothing. It's vital.audio. This one, what you do when you go to do it, I think you have to like scroll all the way to the bottom and then you go to basic free. Already gives you 75 presets, 25 wavetables. And then if you do their subscription or whatever, like there's tons of packs, there's tons of wavetables. You can make your own wavetable. So like it being a wavetable synthesizer, for example, let me like, so you can like draw in your own wavetable. You can adjust the grid, adjust things. But I'm trying to remember. Okay, normalized table. Wave window. Oh, so this works like keyframes. See, I haven't even gotten this deep into it, but it's this for being a free VST is insane. It sounds really good. All the sounds are amazing. And that's what I mean is like there's tons of free stuff out there that once you start to understand the principles, like that's what's amazing is you could take all the free stuff and start to understand the principles, and you will realize that they all apply to every DAW. Just the way that they work is different. Okay? Like the way things are routed. So like for example, the timeline with MIDI and playback, it's the same with Pro Tools, it's the same with all of them. However, the way that Pro Tools sets it up, the way it looks, the way it operates is going to be specific. So like the principle's the same of, okay, you play the MIDI notes in the sequence, which is the timeline, and then it's going to play back the progression or the sound that you want. Or if you're recording audio, you record it to the timeline, and it works in that way. The only time things get a little different is like when you start dealing with the other side of certain DAWs. Like some of them have really specific things. Like Ableton, if you're doing DJing and stuff, you could put clips in here and run this more with like a Serato or like a DJ type set, or you can use Ableton for live performance. There's like tons of things where it's like that's when you start getting into the weeds. But the principle has always been the same if you want to make a song and complete it and put it out there, which is you put MIDI instruments and live sound recordings into a timeline in sequence and move the audio and MIDI clips on the grid. And the point of the grid is to keep everything aligned, keep it all in sequence. And when you start learning how to use the grid to like copy multiple sequences, like you can make a section and duplicate it, and then you can mute sounds or remove sounds, and the silence and being able to do that can help you understand that it's like you don't need a bunch of sounds going on at once. Like you can just learn how to make a simple idea. Even if it was one chord, you could use that same chord and you could use different sounds, different things like arpeggiators. You can use different sound effects, which there's tons of free ones out there that I even use still, like the blep effect stuff, which I was using on the drums. For example, Cruncher, that one's really good, or the filter, like all of those are really good. So it's like understanding that sound design is when you start to get into the weeds of it. But if you're like new to getting your ideas documented, the best thing to do is start creating and learning how to work on a timeline, because if you want to release a song, eventually it's going to end up there. That's eventually where it always ends up. And learning how to, realize, okay, this is 4 bars. Like until you zoom, like if you zoom out, usually the grid is adaptive. They call it an adaptive grid. You can do it that way. I usually set it to like narrow, and then when it zooms in, it automatically like fills the bars and tells you like, oh, okay, this is like rhythmically there. So like this far out, this is like 4 bars. 2, 2, 3, 4. Oh no, actually. So this would be 16 bars, excuse me. But understanding this and learning how to get everything aligned in time is super important. Because then, once you understand how to align things in time, you then can start adjusting like the timing, the phase. Which when you get into that realm, that's when you start getting into like knowing things being exactly in the pocket where you want them to be. Because phase has to deal with time in milliseconds. Like in very, very close timing. And if you go too far into time, it starts to turn into delay. Like so, that's like getting into more advanced concepts of audio. But the principle should always be learning how to get everything to a timeline and sequence it to a timeline. Because even if I pulled up BandLab right now, you're going to see something similar to where there's a way to add multiple tracks and then add a timeline. What I'm doing here is kind of like an advanced, I would say this is when you start getting into advanced territory where you're sound designing, you're making sounds, you're using presets and making them your own. You're, making arrangements and then finishing everything out. So, yeah, I think that on that note, this was a good stream. Thanks for everybody who hopped in. I think I got like a pretty good idea. I'm going to play it from the top. I feel like I want to do something. Before I do that, I want to try this free blep effects plugin filter. I really like this one. This one, you can do some really insane, like... It's a really good filter. But there's like a mod feature in here that's like... I think if I hold shift... Yeah. And then you gotta like set the mod to it. Oh. check. See, it like took this sound and gave it a little bit more motion. I like that, like the rain and thunder sounds type of vibe with that. Yeah, that's pretty close where it has to be mixed. I'm going to play it back, and then I think I'm going to end it right here, do a prayer, and then finish this out. Thank y'all for everybody who's hopped in. Yeah, I really like this one. What's good, y'all? This one's a little spaced out. Getting to the end. God bless you too. Thanks for hopping in. The space on this track. Ooh, okay. So there, I think just keeping the guitar going. I love that key change. This one just, when it goes to that part, I'm like, dang. What? Oh, thank you. did them backwards on that. But just. Oh, wait, hold on. Oh, yeah. For the outro. I love that. Yeah. Man, that was crazy. Like, I really pushed myself with this one. Like, how do I make the most experimental, like, you could probably write to it, but it's just experimental. Like, it fits in the hip hop type of realm, but it's really like experimental instrumental. I really like the space on that one. But I also like doing like expanding on, okay, if I took like one or two chord shapes and just moved them around, how, you know what I mean? How can I do the most with like very simple ideas? I think that's a interesting concept. Like, if you guys are new to making music, sometimes that's actually a really good method, is like, how do I do the most with the least? Like, you don't realize your limitation can sometimes be the thing that allows you to be the most creative, because when you have every tool in the world, you're sometimes just not creative because you have no limitation. You have no like stopping point to be like, okay, how far can I go with this? So, on that note, thank y'all for everybody who tuned in. Let me just organize this. Drums. Boom. Rain sound. I'm going to make it magenta because I don't know. Whatever color this is. I'm not a woman. I'm not going to know. I only read them whenever I have to buy nail polish or something like that. I'll figure out if it's magenta or pink or whatever. And then, oh, there you go. Change it to that. All right. Father God, thank you for everybody who hopped in today. Thank you for the creative gift that you've bestowed upon me, and that I've been able to bless others with this, and maybe even help them learn a few things or resources that they can use to help glorify you through their gifts. Lord, I pray that they use them wisely and they trust you throughout the process, even if they don't know where you're taking them. Because, Lord, I know there's been many times where I don't know where things are going, and you've been doing mighty works, protecting me along the way, protecting me really from myself. So thank you, Lord, for the mighty ways that you continue to bless us every day, the roofs that you give over our heads, the food that you allow us to nourish our bodies with, and the ways that we've been able to interact with the body of Christ. I pray that the people that have been involved in my community learn something every day and aim to get deeper in their faith and their relationship with Jesus Christ. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. God bless y'all. Thank you for everybody who tuned in. I'm going to end the stream here. Y'all have a blessed night. I'm glad that we got to make some history. In Jesus' name, amen. You too.